G'day YouTube, welcome back to my channel Bonsai Works. I'm David, and again we're going to do some more shimpaku work. I love shimpakus and I've got lots in my collection that I need to start to work on and style up. I've got this little guy. I just thought I'd really focus on this one because it's kind of ready to have its final transformation and then into a bonsai pot. That's the plan. It's still winter, end of winter here, but it's getting quite warm. I've had to pull the black backgrounds off because it's really windy today. You won't even notice, but you're going to have no background. I'm going to try and stay in front of the tree now to give you guys how I'm going to go styling this tree. Very nice little shimpaku. It's got a bit of nice movement. It's actually got some nice trunk movement already, some nice twists. It's had some work done. It's got really good nabari. Both sides are looking nice. Both front. There's two nice fronts that we can work with. It's just deciding which one's going to be the ultimate front. I'm not going to be able to do that yet because, you know, I don't like to cut off branches. I like to wire them, put them in place, and then see how it all looks. I'm not going to do any major heavy bends, you know, contorting stuff really tight down, maybe a little bit in the top, but I'm not going to bend this trunk anymore. It's nice. It's got a nice position already. All the side branches need to be worked on. So it's a matter of, you know, coming up with the design for this tree. Yeah, as I said, lots of ideas. There's two good fronts. One's in there and one's the direct opposite. Some have got good points, some have got bad points. This has got good branching that I can twist around and make a smaller tree, but the trunk kind of bows towards you. There's a bit of a bow towards you, which I can hide. This side, the trunk doesn't bow towards you. It goes back and then forward, which is nice. But the branches are harder to work with. So they're kind of already on that side. So it's going to be really difficult to twist them around. So at the moment, it's most likely this side where the bow is, and I can twist branches and put them in place. So I'm going to work with the tree in this angle, and I'm going to try and bring branches around. Now, the reason I want to bring branches around is there's some nice heavy branches. Look, there's a really heavy one at the back. But I can twist that all the way around and make a nice smaller branch. And by making a nice smaller branch, it makes this tree smaller. So this trunk has huge foliage. Doesn't look that very old. I've got to get this tree smaller, like more compact, to make it look like an old tree. And that's the plan. So these trees, they might look, if you just wire them out, they might look okay, but it will still look young because the trunk isn't as thick as it needs to be. So by me manipulating the branches, bringing them around, making it more compact, smaller foliage, nice trunk, looks a lot more older. So we want to try and get an old tree. So I'm going to start wiring this tree, and we'll come back and have a look how we're going to go about styling it. So all right, I was trying to design and style this tree, put wire on as I normally do the whole tree, and then it just became a very boring tree for me anyway. Not my interesting, more dynamic tree. So I was just getting a little bit frustrated in trying to think of what I can do. So I still like this as the front. However, you can see now there's a really big heavy branch in here that's kind of, I was trying to bring it around to put it in the spot. I really can't use this side because the branches are coming out and around. It looks terrible from this end, so I have to use this end. So I'm trying to think how I can make it more dynamic, and I've got to add interest. I've got to add something to break up the balance and break up the boringness, I guess. So this really heavy branch, I'm going to gin it. So that's one thing I'm going to do. So I'm going to gin that. And then I'm going to see if I can drop a lot of these branches down and make a small compact tree. I don't know how it's going to work just yet, but I think that's what I'm going to do. So I found this branch was really boring and uninteresting. But if I had a gin instead, it might be more interesting. I've also ginned off. There's a little stubby branch in here that I've ginned off. Probably hard to see. There's a little gin in here that was a very small branch. It didn't have much foliage, so I ginned that off. I think this branch might be very important. A lot of the top is important. There's another branch in here that, yeah, it's okay, but I don't know if it's going to work with the design. So I'm going to gin this off. There's lots of nice cuttings, so I'll make sure I collect those. And what I do is I unwire the branch that I've just taken all the foliage off, because it's anchoring another branch. I need to reuse it. So what I do is I take it off and then And you see the dead branch in here that I've taken all the foliage off. I then gin it. I use my pliers to crush the bark, and then I peel it. I just got to ring bark it so it doesn't go past onto the trunk. So it peels off. It's actually, because it's getting warmer already, even though it's winter, supposed to be winter here, it's actually quite warm. It's pretty much into spring. The weather is springish, already spring. So the cambium's starting to really flow now, so it's a bit easier to peel off that cambium layer because the sap's flowing a lot more firmer. So I'll gin this off, and then I'll reapply the wire, and I'll position where I think maybe that gin should be, and that's how it works. And by time that gin, because the branch is very fresh, you can put it in position and it will dry into that position with the wire. Hope that makes sense. So now reapply the wire. All right, so now it's a bit more of this something, a bit more, you can see the structure a bit more, something much more interesting now, getting rid of that heavy branch. You know, sometimes you do have to get rid of those branches. Now I'm just going to see if I can position this branch in some sort of interesting way, and then try and put all the branches in place. So that's my next position. So I'm going to see if I can drop it. I don't know if it's going to work, but we'll see how it looks overall. That's not too bad. I still want to see the gin I just made, so I have to figure out ways to position that. So by dropping it right down, so I've dropped it right down, I'm trying to create a really low first branch, like really low down, so that I can build the others on top of it and try and make a smaller tree. So that's how I go about doing it. I'll look at now trying to clean up the foliage that's going down and thin out some of this longer branch. Now it's a good time still to do it. I mean, even though it's coming into spring, it's a bit delayed. Like, I mean, I should have done this maybe a little bit earlier. I thought I had a bit more time, but with yeah, the weather warmed up pretty quick and unexpected. So it caught us off, I think it caught us off guard here in Melbourne as the weather is really getting quite warm. So I'm pretty happy with where that's positioned in the overall scheme of things. So now I'm going to work around all my other branches and see what I can come up with. So it's pretty much styling it and trying to come up with a much smaller tree, much smaller design. So that's the plan. But I'll have to look at the tree, so you can't really see what I'm doing. So as I said, this side branch is very important too. So I'm trying to position that in as well. So in a way, I've actually put that even lower than this branch. So you can see that that's a bit lower than that. That's a little bit higher, which is good. So at least now it's dropped it, making it more compact. Now I can put all these branches into all these gaps. I'm going to clean up this branch a bit more, and I'm going to put all this down, squash it down. Otherwise, you'll be watching me for 20 minutes, which is not probably what you want to do. But yeah, I'm going to get going, and I'm going to put it all in place, and we'll do a little speed video so you can see what I've done. So here's how the tree ended up. I'm much more happy with this, how it's looking now. The compactness has come in. It's nice and small. It's creating a much more interesting tree. I really like it. I think it's going to be a nice little mini, and it's actually got potential to be quite nice. it's got to fill out a bit more, but really all the structure's all there. It's all been wired. Just needs to let it recover now. I'm just going to have a quick look at the roots because I'm finding the water wasn't going in as much. I'm just tempted to see if I can put it in the bonsai pot. I think it's okay. I think it's ready. So it's pretty solid root base. Let me feel. If I can come out the roots, then yeah, it feels all right. Yeah, I might put it in a bonsai pot. I'll have to look if I've got one. Let me have a go. Let me just do a clean up and we'll find a pot for it. All right, just quickly, you can see that I've removed some of the roots. I didn't take a huge amount off, just the stuff that was really hanging low because I want to try and flatten it out. It's a nice little healthy tree, very, very healthy roots, lots of roots. Probably hasn't been repotted in a very long time with all these roots, but that's okay. We just got a nice bunch of roots left. We did remove some foliage, so that's a good thing. But we didn't do many like really huge bends and twists that I normally do. So it's actually not a huge stress on the tree. So just trying to see which pot now might fit this tree. I think this is too small. It would be nice in this pot. I don't have a huge amount to choose from. It's a bit heavy. A bit shallow. That's too heavy. So it's between this pot and this pot. I don't think that's too shallow for me. So I'll put that aside. That's more safe. It's more of a safe pot, I guess. Safe pot in terms of the spread and the size. It's safe. This is a really nice pot. This is Japanese Takanama. I can't remember who the grower was. I mean, the potter was, but that's a nice pot that suits the tree quite well. Probably not good. No, I'll probably go with that one. Oh, the shallow one. I think it's too shallow. Yeah. It'd be nice to put in this really shallow one, but I don't think it's capable to handle the amount of lot of roots there. So I'm just gonna prep this pot and we'll get done. All right, so there you go, guys. There's a finished product. I erred on the side of safety with a slightly bigger pot. Still looks nice. I think a more oval or round pot would have been better, but I didn't want to risk it in that little grey pot. I think it would have just been too much for it. This is a nice bit more open, more room to grow. So now some people say you shouldn't. I sometimes also say when you work a tree, don't repot it. But remember, it's the health of the tree that dictates what you can do. So this tree was super healthy. The roots were super strong, super good. Everything was really healthy with this tree. I removed pretty much one main branch and trimmed the tree. Didn't put many heavy bends in it, just slight bends. So there's no real stress on the tree that I've created, or undue stress. There's a bit of stress, of course, but not undue stress. So now this tree just pretty much gets a good watering. I put granular fertilizer on top, just power feed, which I've talked about. Now, I've done a previous video on the repotting and even more detail in repotting. I'll link that at the end of this video for you guys to watch if you want to. But all in all, that is a nice little transformation, nice little mini, another mini for my collection, which I'm really enjoying. These shimpakus are looking great. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you soon.